Hey everybody, and welcome to Internet Roundup with Josh and Chuck. That's Josh, I'm Chuck. We do the Stuff You Should Know podcast, and each week we sit down and talk about, it seems like usually weird things that we find on the internet.
Yes.
I think that's the way our taste skews.
It's definitely the direction we're going with this thing.
Well, I mean, that's the most interesting stuff, right?
Yeah. Are we going to do, like, boring stuff?
Cat was saved from a tree.
People go crazy for that kind of
That's
stuff.
true. That's a classic.
We, Chuck, have a Pinterest page.
Yeah.
And you can search it. Go to Pinterest and search Josh and Chuck, A-N-D, Chuck. And it will bring up this awesome page. And one of the boards on this Pinterest page is weird stuff that's for sale. And there's some pretty weird stuff for sale on the internet, Chuck.
Yeah, this first one I love. The Denture hair comb, which we have right here. If you can check that out.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah, and that was creepy enough. And then I noticed off to the side of Concave Oblivion is the artist who makes all kinds of denture apparel.
Yeah, on Etsy.
Cuff bracelets, rings.
iPhone 5 cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like this denture compact, too. Could you imagine, like, being on I mean, we're both married men, but can you imagine being, like, on a blind date with a chick and she pulls out a denture compact?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
I think it's pretty cool.
It is very cool, and they are not real teeth, which was the first thing I wondered.
Yeah, I did too, and it's all plastic and acrylic, so it's probably legal.
Yeah, but how about that comb?
That's pretty much all you can say about that one. What about this Richard Simmons, Gene Simmons hybrid T-shirt?
Yeah, I've seen that before somewhere.
Have you?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's by a guy named Jason Wright, and it's on Redbubble.
Gene Simmons and Richard Simmons aren't that far apart, you know?
No, I mean the hair. If you dyed Richard Simmons' hair black, you'd have Gene Simmons' hair, clearly.
What color is his hair?
It's like a
brownish
chestnut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting up there. You seen him lately?
Yes.
He's still rocking the running shorts,
Same shorts.
And what's here, the last one here? This is also a replica.
It is a replica, but it's based, well, it's a replica of a real murder victim's skull.
Right.
A Machete murder victim's skull, who they fished out of a river, I think, in San Antonio. And somebody said, man, this skull is so messed up, we should make a replica of it. And this is what they came up with. Pretty gnarly.
That's why you never go swimming in a river in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Stay away.
You can get that for sale on the Evolution store for just $375.
Yeah, and we're not getting kickbacks, by the way.
No.
We don't have one of these skulls sitting in our desk.
No, but if the Evolution store did want to send us some,
I wouldn't mind it.
We would accept them.
I'd take a tooth compact.
So that is just a meager sampling of weird stuff you can get off the internet.
That's right.
Da-da.
And then our second story of the day, I thought this was super interesting. You found this because I love legal loopholes.
Yeah.
For some reason. I never exploit them, but I just think it's interesting.
You just like knowing about them.
Yeah, sure. And hoping someone else tests them out.
Right.
And this one is, can you commit a felony? This is from Slate. And can you commit a felony in Idaho's portion of Yellowstone and not face charges?
Technically, yes.
Sort of. The idea is that there is a portion of Yellowstone Park that is in Idaho, but not in the Montana district.
It's in the District of Wyoming.
Yeah. What did I say, Montana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Idaho.
Right.
And the reason
it's
the District of Wyoming is because that's what Yellowstone National Park is. The federal District of Wyoming covers Yellowstone National Park. But in this one little 50-mile patch, it's actually in Idaho.
Right, which when I was reading this, I was like, who cares? What's the big deal?
Right.
The idea is that you have to field a jury of people that actually live in that district, and that is impossible.
Yeah.
Because no one lives there.
Right. You have to fill a jury with the people from the district and that state.
So you can't satisfy that requirement.
No, you could get people from the district, the Wyoming district, but since no one lives in that portion of Idaho, you couldn't fill out the jury. Therefore, if you can't be tried by a jury, you technically couldn't even be convicted of a crime.
Yeah.
But again, no one's tried this before because basically you would have to completely, without any kind of premeditatedness, carry out this crime in this 50-mile square area.
Yeah, they pointed out that you can't even, if you like got a gun and brought it in, then they could try you outside for wherever you brought the gun from. But I think the legal experts weighed in and said there's no precedent for this, and no one's going to try this.
No.
Because the risk is that judges like to find their own little loopholes.
Right.
Say, no, you're actually going to go to jail for 6 months.
Right.
Good try with your little experiment.
Or for 50 years because it was murder. Because that's the key. It has to be a felony offense that requires a jury. If it doesn't require a jury, then this thing, the vicinage clause is what it's called, doesn't apply, and you can still get in trouble for whatever non-jury trial crime you committed.
So try it out. I dare you. And then so
if you do, let us know.
Well, they would drag the person out of court, and they would just be screaming, "Josh sent me, Josh sent me."
I did not send you.
The judge would say, "Who?"
So that's the vicinage clause.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about that article, we found it on Slate, but it was originally on Quora. On Slate, it's called, "Can You Commit a Felony in Idaho's Portion of Yellowstone and Not Face Charges?" That's a sexy headline.
8-ball answer, doubtful.
Nice.
That's what I would say.
Well, I'll tell you what's not doubtful. This episode's over.
That's right. No doubt.
But you can follow us on all sorts of stuff. Like I said, our Pinterest page. We're also on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
We have a Twitter, SYSK Podcast. We have this beautiful YouTube channel, which you can leave comments below. We read those things. And you can subscribe. We're on Facebook.com/Stuff You Should Know.
We're all over the place.
And we have a wonderful website that you should visit at all hours. It's called StuffYouShouldKnow.com. See you later.
We'll see you next week on the Roundup.